Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a hidden danger, one that lurks inside almost every major company. We're not talking about a market crash or some hot new competitor. No, this is a threat that can unravel an organization completely from the inside out. When we think about what could bring a business to its knees, our minds usually go to those big external forces. But one of the most significant and, frankly, most costly dangers is something else entirely. It's something that's quietly woven into the fabric of everyday business. That's right. This threat is called operational risk. And it's an intrinsic danger because it comes from a company's own people, its processes, and its systems. And believe me, it poses a serious threat, not just to a company's bottom line, but to its very survival. So what exactly is this internal adversary? I mean, it's got to be more than just simple human error, right? Okay, let's dive in and define what we're actually up against. And a really key thing to get your head around here is the role of technology. It's a total double-edged sword. On one hand, all these incredible advancements in IT help us measure and manage these internal risks like never before. But on the other hand, those same advancements are exposing companies to even bigger ones, especially in new fields like fintech. Now, if you go by the book, ask a regulator, for instance, you get this very specific, very formal definition. It's intentionally narrow, and really its main job is to help banks figure out how much cash they need to keep on hand just in case things go wrong. But this is where it gets really interesting. Look at what that official definition leaves out. It excludes strategic risk, the risk of just making dumb business decisions, and, maybe even more important, it excludes reputational risk. For regulators, that stuff is hard to plug into a spreadsheet. But in the real world, for a CEO, for a board of directors, your strategy and your reputation are pretty much everything. They're two of the biggest threats you can possibly face. So, if this threat is coming from inside the building, how on earth do organizations fight it? Well, there's a well-known strategy for this, and it's called the 3 lines of defense. The easiest way to think about it is like you're defending a fortress. The first line? Those are your soldiers on the front walls. They're the business units who own the risk because, hey, they're right there in the action. The second line is your watchtower. That's the risk management and compliance folks, making sure nobody's taking on way too much danger. And the third line? That's your independent inspector, internal audit, who comes in and makes sure the soldiers are actually trained and the watchtower is properly staffed. All 3 have to work together. But what happens when those defenses fail? I mean, these consequences aren't just theoretical numbers on a page. The real-world cost can be absolutely staggering. We're talking billions, especially when a company's reputation goes up in smoke. And this right here is the heart of the matter. When operational failures go public, things like fraud or a massive system outage, the damage to a company's reputation can be devastating. It completely erodes trust, and in the world of business, trust is everything. And that damage has a very, very real price tag. This number? That's how much large banks have paid in fines over the last decade for these kinds of reputational disasters. I mean, just think of the Wells Fargo scandal, where employees were under so much pressure that they created millions of fake accounts. That was a catastrophic failure of people and processes, a textbook operational risk event that cost them billions in fines and just shattered public trust. And this just brilliantly illustrates the sheer variety of these things. It's not just one type of risk. It runs the gamut from complex internal fraud schemes and sophisticated hacking attempts, all the way down to something as simple and as human as a data entry error. All of it, every single one, falls under this big umbrella of operational risk. So here's the really crucial point to take away from all this. This isn't just a problem for the risk department in some back office. It's not just for banks. This is a challenge that spans the entire organization. You see, unlike something like credit risk, operational risk isn't tied to one specific product. It's embedded in literally everything a company does. It touches every single function, from HR and their hiring practices to IT and system security, all the way to the frontline managers making day-to-day decisions. It really is a challenge for the entire enterprise. Because once you understand this hidden internal risk, it gives you a completely new lens for looking at how modern companies succeed or fail. It's about the very machinery of a business and how well that machinery is being maintained and protected from, well, itself. And as we look to the future, the nature of these internal threats is just going to keep evolving. As technology, and now artificial intelligence, gets woven deeper and deeper into everything we do, it leaves us with a really critical question. In a world run by these incredibly complex systems, is our biggest operational risk still human? Or is it slowly becoming something else entirely?